Good evening. Welcome to Waking God's Child YouTube channel and Children of the Most High. However, Shannon is absent at the moment, but she had a computer update at the last second. So that has happened to me multiple times and it just seems to never fail. So, anyways, I'm going to start this off by pretending to be professional. However, I am completely not. But one thing that I am pretty savvy on are these new AI data centers and the large infrastructures that correspond with them and fit nicely into place, but not so nicely whenever it's on our own home grounds. So, just a second. All right, guys. So basically, what's going on around us? I don't know if any of you have been questioning things about this, but my biggest concern and question is why all of a sudden this big blow up of data centers worldwide, right? Everywhere, it seems like all of a sudden they're just going up, going up, going up, and they are everywhere. And it's quick. It's not like, I mean, what's the hurry? My question is, we're going through a literal drought here in Texas. So, and the way I see it, hey, Big Ed. Hey, Roxy, she's in bed already. Thank you for watching because I feel lonely right now. But I do feel like this is important, and that's the reason I'm sharing. We know where we are in the world right now. We know that there's a lot of strange things going on. But again, my biggest question is why? Why this sudden explosion of AI data centers? And I don't care where you are, who you are, what platform you're on. The second you get on there, you're completely seeing that there's people protesting these centers going on in their town, their city, their areas. And it's like almost overnight, just like mine here across the field from me, just literally happened almost overnight. And I'm just like, for the life of me, I can't figure out why now? Why this second? Not like we know that our technology was working fine before. We know that the cloud was not just a magical floating cloud, but also working just fine before. What is the explosion and the desperation that seems to go hand in hand with it all of a sudden? That they got to go up now, right now, in the middle of a drought. And honestly, it's everywhere. I mean, look, Lake Mead's literally drying up. Lake Texas is drying up. Our aquifers are being drained and depleted. I know we have several cities and towns here in my surrounding area, and I live in Sealy. So keep in mind that I'm west of Houston, about 45 miles, but we have Katy and Fulshire and Houston that are all sinking. They're sinking, quite literally sinking. Katy, I guess, is about right there hand in hand with Fulshire, Texas, and sinking about an inch a year. Now, you do the math. You put that into perspective. These aquifers are being depleted. That means once they're depleted, they're caving in. The ground is sinking. The people on top with their structures built, their homes, sinking. What does that do for the framing of your house? I mean, we know that the foundation becomes unstructurally sound. We know that pavement here is shifting. It's going different directions. Hey, Shannon, she's going to be on shortly. I see that. Yay. Yeah, thumbs up, please. Just to root me on, if anything, because I am lost. I've been lost without my co-host Candy Nelson, the late Candy Nelson, ever since she passed, and been very grateful for these two ladies here to have in my life. They have been a true blessing, both Roxy and Shannon. I cannot even convey how much. But I'm making myself vulnerable because I need to, because it's important, because vulnerability means nothing when it's as compared to our livelihoods, our well-being, our next steps into getting through this nightmare. And I don't think it's a real big conspiracy or question anyone that, we're kind of living in the end times. It's very relevant, very present, and it's everywhere. But again, a sudden demand for these AI data centers and just an overnight thing when clearly the Euphrates River is drying up. The whole aquifers beneath our feet, the well water, the groundwater, it's all depleting. It's being depleted. Um, but yet they're just throwing these up here, there, and yonder, and one right there through my field. And don't think I don't hear that humming and that buzzing all night, but keep in mind, I'm already one that suffers from environmental toxicities. Morgellons is that. A lot of people call it some deranged, psychotic, weird. It is. It's all of those sci-fi horror things to think of. But it also corresponds to many other illnesses, and they all interconnect. So, in my own mind, Morgellons has never been its own thing per se. And I will say that for the Hanta, the V word as well. These are all side effects, also, by the way, of a certain roller up your sleeve or poke you in the booter. But if you get my drafts, picking up what I'm putting down, because I do have to be very careful with how I state things and what I state them to be. And again, this is for educational purposes only. If you want to be entertained, we can call it that as well. But those of you that are awake and aware will know exactly what I'm speaking of. So going back to the AI data centers, is there something deeper going on with those? Is there something bigger going on with those? Which in my case, I am almost certain there is. Viruses, you get on a computer, correct? Viruses can be treated with software, correct? Viruses can infect lots of things, including the human body. So when you start to kind of connect and interconnect these things and thinking of the human body as a computer and software, it kind of is. Okay, I'm going to try to not bounce around, and I know I am right now. This is a really strange kind of, it has multiple topics on multiple levels, but there's a reason I believe that they're putting in these centers as quickly as they are in the middle of a drought when we barely have water. And by the way, you have to have water to live. The human body can only survive 3 days without water. We know that we can go a little bit longer without food, but water to grow the food or to water the cattle or swine or whatever your flavor may be, we don't survive past that. So when we have aquifers caving in, giving out, our land sinking, which means flood prone, which means, eventually the coastal levels will reach that and overcome it. It's not rocket science really as to what is going to more than likely take place if we keep going like we are. But we know that our technology was working fine. It's been working fine. Nothing's faster, no 5G, no 6G, no Gs. It's not made a difference. We know that there's something else behind that. So my point is, these data centers, I believe this is something much bigger and grander and greater than what anyone even realizes. I believe that this is ancient and old technology. I believe that we are looking at the rise, again, of the Tower of Babel, per se, or the all-seeing eye. And to me, it's blatant. To me, it's very obvious what's going on. And y'all, I'm going to try to read your comments as I go. It's a little difficult because, well, I'm old and blind as a bat. But on top of that, I have ADHD, which is also called brain fog, which goes along with these heavy metal toxicities and the other things that many of us are suffering from. And I believe it's probably affecting all of you as well. I think you know what I'm talking about. Aside of that, though, something my own discernment tells me that there is something huge going on. And again, it's going back to ancient and old technology. I don't think it ever ended, but I think it's making its arrival or presence known once again. It's coming in this massive form. And to keep this in mind, these data centers, it's not just like your servers, for instance, like, what your social media platforms use or chat GPT. I mean, this is agentic AI. Agentic AI, meaning it literally acts as an agent for you, for humans, for everybody, but it also has no problem communicating with one another, each other within its realm, within the AI registry. So they if they're not already, are making decisions. They're making rules. They're upholding laws. They are building laws. They are structuring how we are supposed to live. And I think whatever you may call it, has been for quite some time. You see the sudden uproar in algorithms, and which everyone fears, especially me. I've been flagged multiple times. I've had my channel taken down once where I had a significant amount of subscribers at one time. By the way, my numbers on my channel have not changed, not a single digit. Tell me how that's possible. In 10 years, 12 years, my numbers haven't changed a single digit. Okay. I mean, even though I'll be sitting right beside someone subscribing, they're algorithm controlled. There's definitely something bigger and greater going on. And I can tell you what, the battle that I've just put up for this AI data center here, it did not come without repercussions. I have been targeted in more ways than I care to discuss. And I haven't shared that with anyone, but it's been a little kind of a terrifying ordeal. You've seen very little of me, mainly due to me battling it. But I'm telling you, the battle and struggle is so real. It's almost terrifying what I see that I believe we're dealing with, and especially what I've experienced over the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It it's beyond it's beyond what your mind can fathom. Honestly, at this point, I know that many of you understand this. I know that you've already tapped into your discernment, and that most of you are awake and aware. So your minds are probably, open to things that are going on, and if not, you're still connecting puzzle pieces, which we continue to. But this one right here, this AI, this should be the biggest at the top of the list at all times, because this right here is what's in control right now, in my opinion. And you just wait. I mean, every time we turn the corner, it's something different and bigger and better. But I don't think it gets any bigger than these centers that are being strategically placed in rural communities, which are, rural properties purchased by landowners, and doing it in increments of smaller megawatts, that they are purchasing land where they can avoid ERCOT, which, that's your Texas Energy Corridor. It's called the Texas 10. If they keep these centers under 10,000 megawatts, they're able to avoid ERCOT, which again is the corridor, the energy corridor. What they're doing is they're using LLCs and other third party and financial institutions and entities, and they layer them. They're keeping it compartmentalized. And that's why the centers are almost being built and developed right underneath your nose before you know a thing about it. A loophole, if you will, but they are getting away with it just by doing that. And I'll tell you what, the things I discovered this week, and again, I'm a private investigator, so that's what I do. There were some things that I just got hot on the trail. There was some strange actions out of a community member here who, by the way, people found out about this data center from my own video I posted that I accidentally discovered by filming across the field at an oncoming storm system, or so I thought. And then I noticed some out of place structures that weren't there before. I live on 278 acres here in Sealy, Texas. It's country, it's rural, it's cattle, it's fields, it's grass, it's cattle and people in little houses scattered way far away from each other. So when I saw that and I posted it, I immediately had a member here in our community reach out almost immediately, and she was trying to throw me off the track. I could tell she was. She kept redirecting my attention, saying, oh, no, that's not an AI data center. That's just batteries. But yeah, I have property too, because she happens to have property here as well, which again made me, I think Shannon just signed on. Let me see. There she is. Hey, Shannon.
Hello.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I'm so not good at this. Hi there. How are you?
Good. How are you? Oh,
Well,
hi. Like
you
there's a
know,
lot of me up there. Sorry about that.
well, you look beautiful. So you look stunning as always.
Well,
Um,
hello.
yes, I am so glad to see you because I am not good at being up here vulnerable by myself. Well, I mean, I've done it many times, but I don't like it. Um, there you go. You can put it however you want.
I'm
I
just
was
gonna
looking
mess
at the overlay on
around.
it. I thought
Don't
it looks
mind
great with you there,
me.
but I don't know how to get the overlay right.
Mm,
How about that one? Nope. How about this one? Nope. Nope.
It's
Nope.
all good. We'll
I'm
just
telling you. That's why I had it on this one because well, no, it's still over your face though. Maybe I'd switch your spots because I'd rather it be over my face, but
we're
I don't know
good.
how to fix it. I'll let you try if you think you can do it.
It's all good. Anyways,
How
hi
good of
everyone. Sorry it took so long. I did actually get to listen in to some of your stuff as I was in there. And yes, you've been battling this data center in your area, which for a lot of us who know it's coming, this is really awesome because you can kind of help give us a little bit of a step by step on how you guys are trying to run things and what to expect as you were talking about with being targeted and things along those lines. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well, I've
Because
been bumping shoulders with U.S. senators as well, very close shoulders with the senators and other political members and elected officials. And I mean, up close and personal on a phone call away basis. It's been interesting. I've been offered job positionings, uh, and I'll discuss that later. But again, not my forte. What I know what's going on. So, but I've also been getting some really strange visitors passing by with shiny black and white vehicles and SUVs and because my mouth doesn't shut up and it's not gonna because duct tape I can bite and eat through that. I mean, hello, you met me, but yeah, there's a lot to it, and I'll share that at a later date.
right,
But the what kills me is this person was trying to throw me off, right? And I knew something wasn't right, and I put together another county meeting held just for the people because I attended the courthouse meeting for the county, and we were basically turned around like 2-year-olds to speak to each other, with no microphone, nothing, just like turn around, let them hear it. And I'm like, we're here to address you. We pay your wages, hello. But we were treated like 2-year-olds, and thinking like I'm stupid or something. But I put a blatant post out about that, and I've been putting lots of. I don't, you don't have Facebook, I understand, but I have not let it rest, and I am not going to. And started receiving calls from way high up, and um, I've been asked to simmer it down, settle it down, blah blah blah. I get louder. Point being, though, with this in particular person, uh, she they, I guess, because it's a whole unit of theys, reached out and they're like, oh, no, no, it's just BESS. It's just BESS, BESS, Battery Energy Storage System. Like, we're Sealy, Texas. We're rural. There's no reason anyone that just has half a brain would say, why would we have that? We don't need that. We're doing just fine without. We don't need these extra batteries. I've been out without power more now than I was before they were there. But I mean, anyone knows that when an AI data center goes in, there's going to be several components. It's going to be a substation, and either an existing one or one that is being built alongside BESS, the battery storage system. You're going to also have the what they call here is a hybrid, right? So it's a hybrid data set. Supposedly uses less water, less electricity, but truth be told, it's BS. And keep in mind, not only am I a private investigator, but I'm also a process server, notary of the public, you name it. I do legal, legal assistance is what I do. That's my profession. I'm the one that delivered these legal documents throughout this whole area through here for almost 2 years, handing out legal document after legal document to these individuals, private homeowners and landowners, where it stated, doesn't really matter, basically may as well said, doesn't really matter if you fight it or not. We have almost a 6 or 4 foot in diameter pipeline that will be going through your property straight through. So I don't care if you're raising, if you're a rice farmer, if you have cattle or wheat or any type of farming, the living that you're making, we're going to be cutting it in half and taking away from that area, which is a good sized profit for a lot of these farmers and landowners, and keeping in mind it's been in their family for
Mhm.
years. Well, I was the bearer of bad news for that. So when I looked across the field and I saw all the infrastructure being built, I started coordinating everything. It just clicked. I'm like, oh my gosh, that better not be an AI data center. And I talked to you and Roxy about that almost immediately. And then, of course, I had the town meeting, and the same person that reached out to me when I put it online, my first video, I was filming a storm, and there it was. All of a sudden, during this meeting, and keep in mind, it was a full meeting. Like I had the hall down here. It's called Peters Hall. It was packed, and it's literally a quarter of a mile of where the substation road is, where they're actually putting the full structure in as we speak. But it was fully packed, and I was up speaking, and nobody else, really had anything to say. Of course, I head up the meeting. Let a couple of other people, start it out, introduce, whatever. Nothing was said, but I go to talking, and when I said, my house now is lit up like a Christmas tree. I used to could see the stars, and now I can't really see the stars like I used to. I hear this low humming sound all night long, and I'm very, very sensitive to vibrational frequencies. But again, it's just right there, so of course I would hear it. But
I have
this individual stood up and she screamed at me in front of the whole county that was there. And get this, our county judge showed up to it as well. But starts screaming, and she goes, what do you mean? I have property adjoining and I don't hear or see any lights. We're here for the truth, and thinking, okay, wait, what do you mean? Why are you? She's like, I don't see how you could possibly say you can't see the stars and you see lights. I don't see them at my house, and mine adjoins it. And I looked at her, I'm like, I'm glad for you. I'm happy, but I mean, I do. Keeping in mind, I find out later her property sits down low and it's divided by trees. But not even the point. Like, we're all there supporting, like, we just don't want these sinners. They bring bad things, right? And so she gets up, does this huge spiel, trying to, I think she was trying to make people doubt me, but I think it actually did the opposite, because it's like, just because I see it and hear it and you don't doesn't mean anything. But she stormed out of there. So and I'm an investigator. I immediately am like, no, something's up. This woman contacted me right away, the first person that reaches out, right? And all of a sudden, she makes a big deal right here at the town meeting that I organized. So what do? I go home and I do what I do, and I start delving in deep. I start getting, pulling records, deeds. I start looking into CAD and recent deeds and land purchases, because my wheels are turning. I'm like, this woman, like, if that's her, if we're on the same team, that would not make sense. If anything, if we're on the same team, you're like, yeah, yeah, that I bet she does, because I'm right there. I don't hear it, but maybe she does. But so it wasn't like rocket science. And sure enough, I start pulling deeds and going into CAD and looking at recent land sales and deeds exchanges. And I start noticing patterns. I start noticing a lot of Chinese names intermingled with lots of different deeds and exchanges that happened right at a certain time within several surrounding towns around here. And two different entities, extremely prominent Chinese names, kept showing up in these deed exchanges. So, keeping in mind, again, as a process server, I know that also about a year ago, we had a big BAE. I don't know if you guys are familiar with BAE, but that's a big, big, big company. It used to be right here in Sealy, Texas, also. So it was a huge entity. They used to, test the Humvees and all that. Well, I know in my mind, I'm thinking, I also did an exchange with a different group from China on that parcel of land. So my wheels are turning so hard you can't even imagine. Because again, I'm seeing certain entities, certain names, certain LLCs layered within it. So there's LLCs, there's power companies, and they're all layered within strategically within these surrounding areas and some. Um,
Well,
so
more than likely, they're all in bed with each other, regardless, on all these AI centers, because all of these 15-minute cities, everything is going to be run off of these systems. But we know there's so much more to it, of course, having to do with Starlink and things along those lines. But this is a question I have, and I'm going to pose this. I'm going to give you a little background first, because back in 2015, we here in the San Bernardino area had a situation where, for about, well, 6 months prior to the incident that starts with the T and also ends with a, what I'm saying, a TA attack, whatever,
mm-hmm.
um, for 6 months, the town hall meetings were just, I mean, person after person saying, "Hey, we don't want to be a city like this. We don't want to be open, blah blah blah." It was a big fight with the city for months and months and months. This goes down, which, by the way, there was training for it for a good year before this situation goes down. Everything happens. It's now, worldwide news. We got all kinds of stuff going on with it. But then, of course, now you can't say what it really is anymore, right? You can't call it a TA, because people will
Since
shame
it's
you.
an algorithm for
But
sure.
so, kind of where I'm going here is, I've noticed with Texas, a lot of the pamphlets for like a zombie kind of apocalypse, or like certain other things that they're kind of throwing in your face. Maybe this other V that's going around, some of these things
That's where
as
it's all of it. Yeah.
an FF, an F flag
Mm-hmm.
event to distract you from what is going on. Because let me tell you, after that incident, did anybody question whether or not we should become an open city for refugees? You know what I'm
And
saying?
letting them in for a reason. That's
So, you know what I'm like, this is something we want to keep an eye out, and don't get distracted by whatever they're throwing at you. Keep that
oh, I'm
pressure.
so not. I was going somewhere with this. I promise. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I
For sure.
know. I'm gonna go ahead
Yes.
and interject. I had to ask some
No, I'm
questions.
glad you threw that in though, because that made me think of something else also. Um, that person I ended up finding a deed exchange. And if we drove them out, say we won, which there is no winning, by the way, and I'll get to that later, but they might back off momentarily, but you're battling, Blackwater, and you're battling the big weight. There's no winning this. So trust me, I followed the money. I did the math, and it went from local companies to bigger companies to the biggest, and I don't have to name them. But long story short, she sold out. She was one that sold out. So that's why she's raising a fuss. She doesn't if she thinks she's going to lose her, they're going to purchase her land eventually. She's going to make some pretty money. And come to find out, a lot of people, very well known businesses in this area, sold out. Not even the point. That's going to happen. People like money. We get that. But what I don't like is that there's something deeper and darker behind this. And you kind of touched on that as well. The immigrants, those, I'm telling you, I'm just going to say this. There is another country that's buying up everything here. And I already hit on that earlier. So
Tons here
I want
in
to say this as
California.
big as day right now. I
Tons here in
deliver
Cali.
legal documents all over. Our
Girl,
land is going to another end, and we're supposedly, race for AI, race who can get there to the fastest, to the moon for the sinners. BS, all of it, BS. We've been in cahoots with that country the entire time. So the CV, where everyone was like, and then, falling over, didn't come from there. It came from a lab here, by the way, but neither here nor
think
there.
about this. Think about this. San Francisco. The only time you ever have seen it cleaned up and pristine was the time that Mr. Ping showed up.
Yep, that
And
is
what
true.
happened to those people, by the way, that just got scooted away and cleansed away, which, by the way, for years, that's never happened. We here
You're
have
so right.
known. We
Yeah,
here have known. See, here's the thing, California, we grow about 90% of the produce in this nation. That isn't your staple like corn or, like wheat. Like all of the variety that you're getting is actually coming from here. And there are two countries, by the way, that owns farmland out here. And I mean, I guess you could call a
oh yeah,
third
no,
party
there's
the Simi
two
Valley.
here as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So there's the sea country, and then there's
and then
the
there's the P
FA
country.
country.
Yeah,
And you hear all the time that the sea country owns
the
all of
icon.
our debt. Oh no, no. Our credit cards are owned by the SA country
a
that
hundred
produces
percent.
oil for
Well, why do
us.
people
And
not see? This is to me. It's always been not. I didn't even have to be an investigator to know this, and neither you, obviously. But I mean, we
you
have
have
a
an investor
world
on
economic
that.
system. We have a world health system. World means all these very prominent money type leaders, elitists, coming together, getting along just fine there. Which tells you your wars are bogus, the enemy is bogus. There is the only enemy there is are these small handful of individuals of big money and big heads believing themselves to be that way. That's where the war, that's who the war is with. We, these other countries against us, that just the regular people like us, we're not at war. They've just made us believe that we are. But what I see on deed transfers worldwide, by the way, and especially Texas being its own country, so to speak, just kidding, but
I hear that.
there is it's being purchased and bought up right now, and not by American citizens by any
Uh,
means. But the gates
China's
are open here. Your immigrants are welcome any day because why? It is a one world government. It has been a one world government. It's been leading into just letting you know about it sooner, or here soon, but not soon enough. But it's been that. It's been a new world order. I bumped shoulders with some of the big wigs, and I must look like I'm really trustworthy. But they could look on here. I know they see. They're not done. We're watched all the time. They're watching now. Everything I say is being watched.
well,
But
part of
when
that
they
is
test the water and they say something in passing, that's basically a warning to me, as well as you're right, you called it like it is, but don't you dare say a thing because we'll
well,
get you. Look what
it's
happens to everyone. But I'm a whistleblower, by the way. I just got a whistle over there today.
it's the
So,
saying that if they
but
can try to win you over, or in a sense even keep your friends close but your enemies closer, that's why a lot of the big wigs sometimes come and hang around us or let us know some things or try and get us in because they're trying to groom us to get us in on the other side so they don't have to
yeah,
fight against us. But a lot of the times when those situations have happened to me and I'm very staunch and adamant, then ooh, it's like war. And they make sure that they
they've
are
been
upset. And let
they
me
have
tell you,
made sure. Let
that
me tell you, like I said,
was me, by the way, but
I've
I
made a
will.
lot of people mad recently. Let's put it like that. I've laid low. You could tell I have. You guys thought I fell off the earth. There's a reason for that. Um, and I'll discuss that with you later on and more of it. But you can do the math. You can probably put a lot of this together. I just finally, I'm not afraid. My Lord didn't give me a spirit of fear. I refuse. If it's going to cost me my life, oh well, I'm going to die anyway, and I'd rather be there than here. But just to make it very clear, I am not suicidal and I'm going to live as long as I can live because I got work to do. Hallelujah. I was called to do this work. I was born for a time such as this. So, just to all of you here that are clearly listening, if anything happens to me and they just say it's an accident or whatever, just to make it loud and clear, not even in my bones or body. I have none of that in me. But what I do have is a lot of truth that I'm going to try to put out as often and as much as possible. But I did have to take the time and reflect and figure out how to word things, how I was going to strategically say things, especially regarding these sinners. There's a reason they're going up so fast. There's a big reason. And I'm going to leave you all to ponder that. But the Tower of Babel, just think of that. Think of the all seeing eye. Think of something that knows everything, the forbidden knowledge that is your AI. This is ancient and old, and it's been here since the beginning of time. It's just reawakened itself, and it's getting its little agentic AI units, which are these facilities.
Cool.
Agentic AI, keep that in mind. Look it up
So
if you have to. You're not going to find much on it, but that's what it's called. And
so
they don't need us.
so today, right, was like some kind of rededication to God. Not, we don't know what God at this point, or we
Little
do,
G,
but you know what I'm saying.
I got you.
And it's interesting because Roxy had mentioned to me earlier that Trump had made a mention to Solomon in the building of his temple in his prayer today. And I thought that was quite fascinating because considering a lot of the stuff we've been talking about with these data centers and our buddy Clayton and the sigil magic and the grimoires and how all of these mechanisms works, they work, especially dealing in with this whole Starlink thing. Because if you know what a star is biblically, what are they doing? And the fact that they want to create us as little mini CERNs. So they want to create us as little mini portals, not just batteries.
We're
It's
energetic.
not just batteries. They
We are
want to
energetic
create.
beings. We
And
are data processors as well. Yeah, you're
so
right.
this is kind of where I'm bringing up the HV, right, that we're dealing with, and some of
Yeah,
your pamphlets that you've been seeing and
yeah.
you're
Well, I
saying.
actually reached out because rubbing shoulders with who I was rubbing shoulders with,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll talk to you in private more of that later. And I just can't
I
right
got
now.
I
But you know
got
what I mean. But yeah, just yes to that. It is
yeah,
what I. And any of you that's using your mind right now, just know HB is strongly connected to something else that happened that
to
we'll have
those who
to.
like to eat brains.
There you go. There you go. There's ways to say it. Yeah, a lot of brains for dinner.
Speaking of,
hmm
speaking
hmm
of, good old Ellen DeGeneres was called out for having a brain disease closely related to Kuru.
Well, that's what's going on with a lot of these people.
That's
And
correct.
see, I mean,
So
their bodies aren't. They just recreate those. I mean, this has been happening. There is nothing new under the sun. Nothing new under the sun. And that's where we try to explain that to the only way to say is regular world. they don't get it. They think we are the advanced species, the humans, that we are the most knowledgeable. We're freaking cavemen, dudes and dudettes. We are so behind times, but not the knowledge, the technology that's been there. It's so much more than what we ever knew. It's just reset after reset.
It's
Also,
interesting because we've gone down on a lot of the lines of these grimoires as of lately. And I had looked up some things, and you know, me and AI, we don't really get along, but I did notice that it did try to take some of these grimoires and these, mysterious books and decoded some of them. And one of the most interesting one to me was the Voynich manuscript, because in that the AI actually
I read
figured
that.
out,
I looked at that.
right,
Yeah,
that they were showing you how to mesh DNA, how to
that's
build
what
a
mixing
link,
iron with clay was. What that manuscript was about.
right?
Hybrid,
So
my favorite. So
it's like
yeah.
all coming to fruition
So
again.
the difference, I think, and I had to have this conversation with a lot of people in my community because I would get scalded. They're like, well, "You're on Facebook and you're against AI," and I had to point this out. I'm like, "You don't understand. Chat GPT, Facebook, any of your social media platforms, Google, all of that is ran by a server. It is completely different. Chat GPT is not the AI that we should be like. That's not the fearful AI. This agentic AI, where these data centers come into play, this is what needs to be feared. Don't get me wrong. These platforms, Google, if you have a cell phone, don't even comment, is all I can say, because it all runs off of a server or a data center, so to speak, but not to the extent of what these are. ChatGPT is nothing more or less a tool. I hate to say that, but it is true. I know this in depth, inside and out. So
It's like a
that's why I don't feel
gateway.
bad about using it, because if someone's holding a gun to your family's head, say you're anti-guns, and you walk in the house and you see a moment to grab that gun out of that shooter's hand and turn it on them, would you? Well, then there
Well,
you go. I have no
you know,
problem using it. But yeah,
God
but
is
this
allowing us to use these platforms too, because that's the only way to get out to
the only way.
anybody at this
It
point.
is the only way,
But,
and God actually allots for that. But
but think
I
of
mean, I guess what I'm
of the
saying is like this is a different
right,
entity.
but
It
think of
is
ChatGPT
so evil.
though as a gateway AI. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like
Anything can be, yes, absolutely.
it is slowly getting you used to getting more integrated, more
Conditioning,
used to running your everyday off of these things.
which
Because
is
I mean, even
atonement
just
where they're at.
Siri, now even us old people will be like, "Hey Siri, set an alarm
Hey
for
Siri,
whatever."
can you tell me where I left my glasses?
I still refuse to have an Alexa or a Ring camera
You
or
will
any of
never see an
those.
Alexa or Siri. I don't. I use Siri or Alexa ever.
It
I've seen
doesn't
too many
matter.
wicked things. Like in response, I'm like, nope.
At
That's an
some
open
point,
doorway.
because we have made a contract with these things, we have to we have to really understand that. So when it comes time for God to tell you to get off your exit road, to get off the exit for you with these things to end that contract, you need to listen. Right now we're going to use it for his glory, for his glory. But I promise you, we will all have a day where we're going to have to make that decision. Are we going to stay with
It's
this
it's
technology,
it's
or
not
are
even going to
we
be a matter.
going to
Like it's going to be
move
the
on?
mark of the beast, is what we're talking about, right? It's basically
Exactly.
this.
So
It's a
this
choice
is
of you
this
selling
is
your
our
soul.
way. This is the way that they have integrated this, is to normalize it, to make it to where it's a second thought. Oh, but it's made my life so much easier in these aspects. So
Same with
you just have
jewelry,
to
same
keep
with
that in
makeup,
mind.
fashion. It's all of these things.
You just
Anything,
have to keep it in
anything.
mind.
Your vehicles, your horse and buggy. All of these things are tools to make you dependent upon them and not your Lord above. But remember, these gods with little g's taught the beautifying of the eyes, and the beautifying of the skin, and it's all literally within the fallen's realm. All of this technology is forbidden technology, and it does come from there. But what I do know for certain is that how it's used also matters a lot, because you're opening doorways to evil entities when you even mess with any of it, really.
Oh,
Ouija
yeah.
board, you guys know what a Ouija board does. I mean, if you're leaving open doors, you're taking a chance and a gamble, no matter what, of something slipping through that you might have meant it innocent, and you might have not understood, but it was clearly stated. So we have to be very careful. But there's going to come a time, it's going to be sooner than later, where the comforts of our homes, the electricity we know, and trust me, these data centers are going to be a big reason of it. Depletion of your water, it's going to be survival of the fittest, is what this is going to come down to. And those that sell out will still have electricity, will still have food and access to water. But those of us that don't sell out, and I'm not selling out.
Well,
We're
and
All I can say is people need to get their skills, their survival skills together, because it's going to happen. It is
right.
going to. It's
And
coming. So that's what I
oh,
guess my whole thing was leading to, is we're down to, they're working on bunkers underneath us right now. That water from the aquifers is
oh,
going down.
water.
It doesn't just disappear overnight for no reason. That was the other thing I was trying to
Well,
say. They don't
that
just drain.
well,
So
that was something I was gonna pose to everybody. I've seen a lot of different videos all over the place of people's thoughts and ideas and the research they have come across with what these data centers really are, which I know we are on the right page, but there is probably many layers along with that. So
yeah,
I
multi-layered.
have heard things that they have had proof that the data center near them is also a makeshift camp. There's other things that are talking about how the water isn't just being used to cool down things, but it is literally being programmed to then be recycled.
Programmable matter and water is matter. That's right.
Right. So
100%.
there's also the factor that they want there to be lack. They want famine. They want
That's how you
drought.
accept the mark. You get forced into it.
Right.
You get hungry enough, thirsty enough.
So
Yeah.
they found a bomb, right, in one of the main dams in the nation somewhere. I don't remember exactly which one it was. They, of course, found it in time and it didn't detonate. But that to me was like, oh, hint, hint, because there's been a lot of hints before about, the Hoover Dam, other dams being let go, but of course, there not being a whole lot of water in them at this moment, it's not a big deal, right? But say that programmable water gets put back just in time for these things to go, who knows what could happen in that factor? I mean, there's a lot of different
So many, so
theories.
many what
And
ifs for sure.
right. And then so it's like,
You got to live
I
on
know.
live on faith and full armor.
Right. The foundation is very biblical to all of this. But what are all the layers of implications that are going alongside with it is kind of my question, because all these theories are out there. We know misinformation and disinformation is a problem.
I don't look for it from others. I refuse to look at other
No,
channels and just
but
think.
I do
I guess I get it from here, right? And just
feel,
like you have this
right?
feeling when you feel it and you know
Right.
it.
But
And
it is
that's the one thing.
important to kind of
Right.
filter through and listen, because not everything is accurate, obviously, and that
And not
works
everything is
in
bad
with
either.
your relationship and discernment through the Holy Spirit. But there's always a little piece of the puzzle in something. and it gets you thinking as to
It's like
what
this
more
week with that
information
woman, and it turned
you
up a
have.
whole mess of information just by her one action, two actions.
Right.
And I uncovered a world of information that was there right under my nose. I mean, I knew it was out there, I just didn't hadn't found it yet. But that's what uncovered it. With one thing, one wheel spinning, one thing, it's a domino effect. But that's what I've always said too when I would do podcasts with Candy or with you guys. That's the great thing about keeping your circle small, but uniquely full with those with has that have the wisdom and the knowledge and the discernment, like the eyes wide open, because there's a lot of people out there that like I am wide awake and they're just basically getting on the choo-choo train of somebody else's topic or
Oh,
conversations. So but we grow and learn by communities like this. And
right.
this is what I say about this AI community here regarding this data center. I could see this whole community growing and learning, but there was a handful, and keep in mind why, that weren't on board because they like AI. They can draw this. It's the simplistic minds or just something someone else told them. It works like that with anything, but this is the most important thing when it comes to communities like this one and what we do and those that also are here and offer their valuable thoughts. This is how we learn and grow and like literally arrive somewhere big. And we're time's ticking. That's why
On
it's
the
important
general,
we do as much as
on
we
the
can.
general whole, I don't think it's that people don't necessarily care or don't always
They don't know how.
understand, but they are so traumatized by the everyday, what's going on in the news, what's going on, period,
Oh,
in their
for sure.
lives.
My whole family is there.
They have no capacity
Well, like I
beyond
said, my whole
their
family is that.
every
Yeah.
day. And it's hard. It's really hard because there, we tend to look at things at a bird's eye view, and we get frustrated because
Oh, I already
people
know why they
are
don't.
still
Yeah.
standing on the street looking at the building,
Yeah.
and they can't see past the building
I'm not
because
even talking
trying
about
to
them,
keep
but
the
you're
right
right. Yeah.
perspective. And it gets hard and frustrating, but that's why we plant the seeds, and we have to lead by example, right? That's why
Been
what
doing
you're
that for
doing
years.
is, the more you continue to be bold, Lisa, and you keep going, even though there were only 5 people there, next time there'll be 10, next time there'll be
Yeah.
20.
And actually,
So
that wasn't even the people I was referring to at all, because my family is included in that for fear. I mean, my family said they'd never get to see poker. They were the first in line. Okay, so I totally understand the fear. I'm talking about the ones that are out here boldly saying there's nothing to fear, and they're speaking out of not fear, but out of literally not a humble place, but also lack of knowledge and not on a godly level. So those are the ones that I seem to battle a lot. Not battle because I walk away, but I notice because disinformation comes from Satan's realm of people that want to share in spreading it. My family doesn't spread or share anything because they don't want to believe in anything. My sister actually showed up to that meeting I held, and I was really proud of her. But my dad, he just don't want to know, not happening. That's how. But I know it comes out of a. If you're the first to line up for a poker, when you said you'd never do something like that, and you're first in line with my mama, you're afraid, and I recognize that, and I understand it. I don't know how I'm related because I've never had that spirit of fear, but that's because God, I think, strategically places his people and wakes them when he needs them. And he says, I did not give you a spirit of fear. Maybe he didn't mean everybody, but he didn't give me one. And because I know he's the only reason I've gotten through anything. So how could I fear if I'm still walking, I'm still alive after I've been to hell and back with the disease and everything, and you too? How could we have any fear? We've seen what ugly sorrow and sadness and the depths of hell look like. We don't have fear because we know he's real. He got us back up and he led us through the darkest of all nights, and we saw the day because of him. And so it's easier for us to not have a spirit of fear as well because we had to go all the way down and see that ugliness.
Speaking of those who have no fear, love you, Roxy. Good night. I'm gonna make sure I said that.
I'm so glad you're so sweet of her to stay up still and
Oh,
support us. Love
uh-huh.
you. Love you. Love you. Love you long time.
Well,
Yeah. I
this
know that it's late, but I wasn't going to keep you. I know you're tired
I
too.
can promise you, though, there are more and more people waking up to these data
Oh,
centers.
yeah. I've
There
been saying
definitely,
that forever.
there
Yes.
definitely is some hope in that.
I
And
had the whole town behind me. I'm like, yay, this was so cool. Yeah.
as you had mentioned earlier, even though these things are going to happen and
Hmm.
whatnot, the fight is not even so much knowing that you're going to tear down the system. It's more about building the community and knowing who's on your side,
This
who's
whole
against that,
community, it was
and how
amazing.
you guys can come together when the SF
Yeah. Well, that's
happens.
what I was trying to say earlier before you got on. Our whole community, like, I've been an outcast here from day one. If you're not from here, they usually don't want to know you. But because I stepped up and because I put the word out, I have been so supported by everyone, except for my family. But I mean, I would expect that. But I mean, it's amazing because I can see people waking up. I've had people reach out saying, I understand what you're saying. I saw your video. Oh my gosh, this is making sense. So people are waking up every day. That's why don't stop talking. Don't stop spreading the word. Do it
Mhm.
because even if you think you're not touching one soul, even you're probably touching dozens of them without even realizing. And I
Yeah.
can assure you of that because I could testify. I've seen it. This whole town, like, there's at least six now. At least six I can count on my hands, if not more. Actually, just see my inbox. People are like not just the data centers, but like oh my gosh, I never realized that about the Illuminati card game. I watched your video on the ancient giant biblical trees. Oh my gosh, and people are. But the Lord said, I will pour out my spirit on all people, and it says, "For I know the plans I have for you." And He also said, "Do not be afraid, do not fear, for I did not give you a spirit of fear." And He also said, spiritual wickedness in high places, that's who we battle against. Our battle is not against flesh and blood. So we're not supposed to be battling each other. We're supposed to remember that we're battling spiritual wickedness in heavenly high places. Those who fell, those in the air, comes from frequencies, cell phone towers, AI data centers, all sorts of things in the air going on, but that's spiritual wickedness in high places or could be used for that. And we know, we're aware, and we're awake, and we're in full armor. So
So what's the solution, guys? It's your
prayer,
relationship with
faith,
Jesus. It's your relationship with Jesus. It is
that's
prayer.
what it is.
It is it is truly focusing on your path, your narrow path with Jesus, and he is going
Yeah.
to make whatever else happen. And
Remember, though, the souls we help take with us, it's super
right.
important. So don't stop talking and spreading the
No.
word.
Well, and
So
that's the
important.
thing is your personal walk will open up those doors to reach out to the community and not to be discouraged when you're fighting the good fight for the kingdom of God and things seem like they're not going your way. Again, God is using you to build that community of those you can go to
It
and
only
help
takes
out and be
encouragement.
together while things are crumbling around you. So take
Yeah.
courage and heed and know that God loves you and he's not going to put you in any kind of position he knows you cannot handle.
Be still and know that I am God. I got nothing but Bible verses. Whatever. That's what gets
Hey, I
me.
was like, are we doing a dance?
Trying to show you. Every
Okay.
I actually have my whole home, and I'm the only one that lives here, so it's not like anyone sees it, but it helps me in the morning. I have one that says, "Hope anchors the soul, faith in God, hope above." And then, of course, I've got Psalms 118:24. This is the day which the Lord has made, and be and you'll be glad in it. And I got Psalms, the 27:1 that says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation." And then Philippians 4:13, "I can do all things, not just some, but all things." And I actually expressed that again today to someone that was having a hard day. And she's very afraid about these AI data centers. And like, he didn't give you a spirit of fear. She's like, I just don't think we can do it. I'm like, well, if we don't, we don't, but we don't know unless we try. But it doesn't matter. We can do all things. And whatever the Lord wants for us will happen. But we already know the times we're in. We were told the signs to look for. He gave us all the signs to look for. We're not supposed to be fearful of it. But don't think for 1 second people like Shannon and Roxy and I and all you here, we're not going down without a fight. You're going to hear us saying, you know, to God be the
Um,
glory all the way through until the end. So that's what we're here for. Be
Roxy's going out Mad Max style, and I'm just gonna be,
alert.
well, I
I
don't know
think of
what I'm gonna be, but
fried
it's
greens,
not
tomatoes,
gonna be
Wanda,
Mad
Wanda, or Thelma and Louise, except for that was a kind of different ending. But yeah.
I'm like, I can write your battle song.
Wanda. I'm just saying though, you know, we're here. We're here to be a light, and it only takes a spark to keep a fire going. So so we shall. So we will. So we do. But yeah, there's more I will share at another time on the bump of the shoulders with the people I bumped, because it's more of a, that's like I'm a stink or something. Is I have bugs just flying all around me. But I did shower, so don't know.
It's just that time
Satan's
of
is
year.
doing it.
You're up on it,
I'm
but
telling you. Well, actually, I have a plant over here. I think they something laid eggs on it or hatched out, because I've been seeing like little gnats flying off of it. So I think it's more
no,
so
time to
yeah.
go outside. Well,
Yeah.
hey guys, thank you so much for coming. We're probably gonna cut it short tonight just
I'm
because
tired.
I've had a really rough emotional week. I lost somebody very dear to me, and there's been a lot of loss this year. So I'm taking some time to process. I know I haven't been around as much, and I do apologize, but I will be back up. Probably we're going to try and come up more this week. And thanks for your patience and your prayers. I love you
I
all.
also want to add, keep Daniel and Kim in your prayers, and I also Kim's traveling with Daniel to go see her cousin who has cancer and is in the late stages of it. And I have a friend coming home on hospice tomorrow. I've been desperately trying to find him an electric recliner because he can't lay in a regular bed. I put an ad out on our Facebook post asking if anyone had one for cheap or wanted to donate, but no luck. So I'm gonna probably go buy him one tomorrow. But a lot of people suffering right now, a lot, and when you're the one left behind, Shannon, it hurts. It hurts so bad. There's nothing. I lost my aunt. She supposedly took her own life just in August, and she was the only one that believed in me, believed I was in awake, and she was like, well, her and my other aunt, but she was the main one because she saw these things too. And when that happened, it wasn't like her, but I mean, a piece of my heart went too. So I'm sorry for your loss, because I know more than I know how that feels. I just brokenhearted for you, and
Eh,
so many
It's
out there. My best friend Adrian, so many hurting. I'm
there's
just
been a lot of loss, and that's
it's a selfish part, but we want to hold on. It's like it's
I
hard.
often say on the show that no one is promised tomorrow. You just need to make sure that you tell your loved ones that you're there and you do love them. And here's the thing. Sometimes you don't end things uh, on good terms.
We need to do it digitally.
That's the stuff you gotta let go when they leave. And the
Yeah.
more you hold on to that fear of the loss, hold on to the grief, the more darkness can enter in, and the more you're willing to make a deal with the devil.
And we're supposed to be rejoicing because they're home now,
So
right?
take the time to process your grief and really do that in prayer. And yes, rejoice that they're home. But
We'll be
even
together.
some of those circumstances that you may not always know, because there are those out there,
Yeah.
you just need to make peace with the situation, that the times that you had together
And
were
give it to God.
all and had its time. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because grief can really put people in a dark place. And I know, because I've been there. So just love on yourself when you're grieving, and take that time to process, so you're not opening yourself to darkness. You know what I mean? Just wanted to
Yeah, after
kind of
losing Candy and my aunt within a month apart, it would have been
yeah,
easy to go in a dark place. I was that close. And you and Roxy came into my life. So see how that works? God works in mysterious ways. Because I was grieving hard. I had just lost my beautiful aunt and my best friend co host. And I was like, Lord, where do I go from here? And here these two beautiful women came into my life. So the Lord does work his magic in so many beautiful ways. So I'm very, very blessed and thankful and grateful. And I love all of you very much.
we love you.
Very, very, very. All right. You
Well,
have a
good
good night.
night. Love you guys.
Deep breaths. Breathe in, breathe out. We've got this. We got this. All right. I love you. Bye, guys.
Bye.